Hello, I'm Searcy. Welcome to a new season of Bred to Win, highlighting some of the new stallions in 2025 and celebrating some of the sires whose offspring have been tasting racetrack success in recent times. We have a new sponsor in Barrastock and a fun new segment presented by Cambridge Stud, Stud Dogs of Australasia, meeting all the great canine companions of the people making the thoroughbred breeding industry thrive in Australia and New Zealand. And we start our stallion series with one of the new Godolphin stars joining their elite roster, Broadsiding, taking his place alongside returning super sire Too Darn Hot at Darley's Kelvinside base in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales. And Kiora with the Farnans flying. We look at the Golden Slipper winner's immediate 2-year-old successes and catch up with his magnificent barnmates Captivant and Prague. First though, we focus on plenty happening in the bloodstock world in our Aushorse News. Widden stud Zoostar has been crowned champion Australian stallion for the first time after a phenomenal season where his progeny earned over $26.3 million. It was the first time a Widden sire has claimed the honour since Masque's second title in 1993. Yarraman Park Stud's 3-time champion sire I Am Invincible finished second with earnings of over $22.7 million, but led on winners with 203 for the season. Coolmore's Pride of Dubai finished in third place, while Arrowfield's late 4-time champion sire Snitzel was fourth, but had the most stakes winners at 18 for the season. His former barnmate and former champion sire Written Tycoon, now at Yulong in Victoria, rounded out the top 5. Zoostar had 2 Group 1 winners in the season, Jolly Stars, Newmarket and Kingsford Smith Cup, and Schwartz in the William Reid Stakes. And at the age of only 15 has many good years ahead of him. He stands at a fee of $275,000 this season, and his book will include Elite Everest winner Bella Nipotina. Vinery Stud's Ole Kirk was a clear winner in the first season sires race with earnings of over $3.4 million, ahead of Coolmore's Wootton Bassett in his first Southern Hemisphere season. Kiora's Farnan, who features shortly on Bred to Win, was third, but recorded the most winners as a first season sire. Newhaven Park's Cool as a Beal and Yulong's Lucky Vega were also in the top 5 with earnings over $1.5 million. Darley pair Too Darn Hot and Harry Angel took the second and third season sires titles respectively. Snitzel was champion sire of 2-year-olds, and Fastnet Rock was a big winner over Redute's Choice and Snitzel in the broodmare sire category. In New Zealand, Waikato stud Savabeel was returned to the top of the heap, winning his 10th champion sire title. The son of Zabeel sired offspring with earnings of nearly $6 million NZ to finish ahead of Rich Hill Stud's Poisier, Cambridge Stud's Almanzor, Rich Hill's Shocking and Haunui Farms Bellado. Cambridge Stud's Hello Yumzane was crowned a runaway champion first season sire.
King of Rousseau moves up on the outside, stomped up to just about take the lead.
Still deep in winter, the only group race in Australia at the weekend, the Ori Star went the way of King of Rosso. A son of capitalist, his dam Dominica is a daughter of Choisier and Coolmore Classic winner Danny Martin. Bred by Senga Bissett and Ian Woodford Smith, he was a $95,000 Magic Millions yearling offered by Ashley Thoroughbreds. And in stallion news, Western Australia's Yarradale Stud announced through the week they'll stand former Darley and Oakland Park sires shooting to win in 2025. The Caulfield Guineas winning son of Northern Meteor is a half-brother to now retired Deep Field and is the only stallion in WA to have sired multiple Group 1 winners outside Playing God and Manhattan Rain. Shooting to win will stand at a fee of $5,500. One of the most exciting stallions in the world is Darley's Too Darn Hot, and this season he returns to their Kelvinside base in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales. He's joined by his son Broadsiding, one of few multiple Group 1 winners who's standing their first season at stud in 2025.
Broadsiding strong, pulls away to win the Champagne Stakes. Broadsiding bobbed, won the Golden Rose.
Arvin, it's a wonderful time heading into the spring of 2025 and seeing these magnificent stallions here at Darley in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales. We're here in particular to look at, in this story, Broadsiding and talk generally about the stallions. But how's the farm, the whole team feeling going into a new season?
Well, like you said, Caroline, it's very exciting for us here at Kelvinside because we get to retire champions like Broadsiding. So when he first arrived, there's always a bit of a buzz around the place, and then going into the breeding season, we'll cover his first mares, and an excellent book of mares it is. So we're always very excited, but this year in particular with that calibre of stallion on our roster.
And we will look at Traffic Warden, another new boy, later on down the track. But Broadsiding himself, I mean, I think people forget what an elite racehorse a lot of these stallions are when they retire, and you forget 4 Group 1s, that's an elite race record, a Champagne and a JJ Atkins at 2, Golden Rose, Rosehill Guineas at 3, and 3rd in a Cox Plate. He is the sort of a racehorse you really want to be sending mares to because he has that racetrack proven performance.
Absolutely. One of the things about Broadsiding was he was fast, he was precocious. He was the champion 2-year-old in Australia with those 2 Group 1s in the JJ and the Champagne. But then he trained on, which for the very best stallions, you need to have soundness physically and also be very, very tough in the mind. And he did what no other horse has ever done, which is win the Group 1 Golden Rose first up, which was what an outstanding performance that was. And then he carried on through the year, He was the first Australian bred horse in the Cox Plate when he ran 3rd, beaten by a Japanese bred runner and a British bred runner. And then he went on and won the Rosehill Guineas in the autumn. So he was truly a magnificent racehorse.
And of course, you've been very close to these racehorses all the way through with your role. Tell us about, what he's like, his personality. I mean, he's an interesting guy, isn't he? I know James Cummings, when he was training him, said he has a lot of presence, a lot of character, and you really want that in these elite stallions, don't you?
Absolutely. In terms of his characteristics, he has that edge that all elite athletes, whether it's equine or human, they have to possess. He knows when it was race day, and he always put his best foot forward. In terms of looking at him, I was very lucky when I joined Darley. Too Darn Hot was here, and he will be returning this year, and he's a splitting image of his father. The only difference is Broadsiding is a Aussie version of his father, is like what I like to say. He's got a lot more strength and substance through his damn sire street cry, but he is very much his father's son.
But here it comes, Broadsiding powering to the post.
The Fernhill, the BRC sires produce at 2. He won the Hobartville as well at 3, won by some star stallions as well. But, you go back, okay, so the first stakes win, the Fernhill, a really dominant win over horses of the calibre of El Costello, Just Party and many others. And, of course, then went to the Champagne with that horrible heavy 10 and had to fight to get past Linebacker, came up underneath the Golden Slipper winner, Manal, who'd won the sires as well. That was an elite performance.
Absolutely, and that form's backed up with Linebacker going on to win a Group 1 himself, and the heavy ground wouldn't have suited him that day. He just, like we mentioned, he had that toughness in him to have that will to win, to know where the finish line was. Arguably, that's one of his best performances because everything was stacked against him in terms of backing up so quickly after the Fernhill, and it was a very, very demanding race because of the ground.
So, of course, then he went to Brisbane, won the sires, as I said, but then the Atkins, and then, as you said, to come back and win that Golden Rose. Take us through that race. I mean, you were there on the day, I'm
Absolutely.
sure.
It was a really proud day for Godolphin. It's one of Australia's marquee Group 1s for 3-year-olds. It's pivotal in terms of a race that makes or sets up a stallion for future successes. You just look at the roll of honour that some of Australia's greatest stallions have won the Golden Rose. They have that race on the CV. So we were very fortunate to be able to be represented by 2 runners that day. And unfortunately, there can only be 1 winner. Thankfully, it was Broadsiding, just beat our other stallion in Traffic Warden, but it really is a very important race in the Australian calendar, and one that takes a lot of winning. It takes a very good horse to win that race.
And you see the whole Darley team too, or Godolphin, obviously Darley, the stallion side, and Godolphin, the racing side, coming together. I mean, those presentations, and you see, James Cummings, or you see, all the team here from Kelvinside, Woodlands, Johnny Sunderland, everyone is so involved in these successes here, aren't they?
Absolutely. A horse like Broadsiding would have been through the entire Godolphin and Darley operation. He's firstly by a Darley stallion. He is out of a homebred mare Speedway. He was raised at Woodland Stud. Then he came to Kelvin's side for pre-training. He then went through the Godolphin training system at Warwick Farm and Osborne Park, where we're very lucky that we have good people at all those sites that help develop these future superstars and allow a horse like Broadsiding to realise his potential.
Third, number 8, Broadsiding. Jamie Carr for James Cummings.
One of the best weight for age races in the Southern Hemisphere is the Cox Plate. It's a race that everyone wants to win. We're fortunate enough to have Animo, who has won it. But in terms of the 3-year-olds, Broadsiding's performance in that is, one of the best performances in terms of a 3-year-old colt. He ran the fastest time a 3-year-old has ever run in the Cox Plate, and he was only beaten by 2 very, very impressive international raiders. His running that day really epitomised his versatility. You've got to think he came from a 1400 metre Golden Rose to a Guineas up to 2000 metres. So he effectively danced every dance. He was versatile in terms of trip, how he was ridden, and the Cox Plate epitomises that. It's a wonderful representation of how successful the Australian thoroughbred breed has become. If you look at the broodmare sires, you're looking at Speedways by Street Cry, who then is out of Glissade is by Reduced Choice. Then you've got Zabil. You've got some of the best stallions to ever grace Australian racing, all in one pedigree. And then you couple that with the shuttling factor by Two Don Hot, by Dubawi. It's a pedigree we all dream of. And we're so lucky that he now gets to pass that on to offspring and hopefully continue the success of those stallions and those lines here in Australia and here at Kelvinside.
Well, the shuttling has been so exciting here at Darley. We've touched on this many times on Bred to Win because it's been so brilliant to see, over the years, the Street Cries, Shamardals and plenty more before. But, Two Darn Hot himself, Harry Angel, a real resurgence. And Two Darn Hot himself, Dubawi out of Daré Me, she was a Triple Group 1 winner herself as well. And he's just been an outstanding stallion here in the time that he's been standing. And as you said, he's coming back this season.
Harry Angel, one of the youngest stallions on the top 10 general size list this year. Two Don Hot is picking up the baton of Dubawi, a champion 2-year-old in his first crop. And we're very lucky how well the shuttle stallions are going here in Australia. And you look at some of the other bloodlines Darley are able to afford breeders here in Australia. In terms of Two Don Hot being a champion 2-year-old, won a Group 1 and then won a Group 1 at 3. Horses have the pedigree, have the race record. Pinatubo, champion 2-year-old. Native Trail, champion 2-year-old. All trained on at 3, all by these brilliant shuttle influences, Shamardals, Oasis Dreams, Dubawis. We're blessed that we get to introduce this to Australia, and even better that they're working so well and improving the Australian thoroughbred breed. If we use Two Don Hot as the successful blueprint, champion 2-year-old, won a Dewhurst, then trained on to win Group 1s at 3, it's exactly like Broadsiding. We feel that you need to be able to be elite at 2, but have scope, have the mentality to train on and still be elite and compete in Group 1s as a 3-year-old. And all our stallions, Pinatubo, champion 2-year-old, won a Group 1 at 3. Native Trail, champion 2-year-old, won a Group 1 at 3. Victor Ladorum, champion 2-year-old, won a Group 1 at 3. We just know that's the formula that works, and that will bring us our next Two Don Hot. With Two Don Hot, he's a very typical Dubawi and quite European, and for me, Broadsiding is a spitting image of his father, but just with plenty of Aussie substance and plenty of Aussie strength, which I love. And I think every breeder who's seen him has fallen over backwards with how beautiful, strong, powerful he is. If I was a betting man, I would pick Broadsiding myself to carry on the success of the Dubawi sire line. What a sire of sires Dubawi has proved to be with Night of Thunder, Zarak, New Bay. They're all wonderful stallions in their own right. And then Two Don Hot himself, he's already a wonderful stallion who's left his first son, and I dare say the Dubawi sire line is one that everyone wants to be breeding to, and we're so fortunate that we get to continue that story, that legacy with Broadsiding.
Two outstanding stallions in Broadsiding and Two Darn Hot. Coming up after the break, we head to Kiora Stud and visit their exciting young sires, Farnan, Captivant and Prague. This segment of Bred to Win brought to you by Barristock, trusted by Australia's leading studs and backed by Kentucky Equine Research. Horses come first. The late Ananda Krishnan's Kiora Stud reintroduced standing stallions several years ago, and it's a decision that's already borne fruit. Farnan is already off to a flying start with his offspring, and Captivant and Prague have exciting futures as well for mare owners looking for racetrack performance and deep Group 1 pedigrees. It's a beautiful midwinter's day here at Kiora Stud, and it's just such a magnificent property. We know what all these trees are going to look like come very early in spring, but right now, how's the farm going? The 3 stallions are very established, of course, in Farnan, Captivant and Prague, and you're heading into what should be a really lovely spring.
Yes, well, thank you, Caroline, for coming up to visit us. As you say, midwinter. It's very good of you. Look, we're very excited about the upcoming spring and the stud season. Kiora has a long history of producing top quality racehorses, and the current management team are very committed to continuing on that legacy. So we're very excited for the season, and we're very much looking forward to it.
It's been wonderful. We'll touch on each of the stallions individually, but watching, particularly Farnan getting out with his horses, getting out and going really early, and obviously Captivant, Prague, there's so much more to look forward to from them.
Yeah, look, we are thrilled with Farnan. He couldn't really have had a better start, to have had King of Pop, North England going so well for him. You were here before and you filmed Farnacle as a foal, and obviously Farnacle ran second in the Brisbane Sire's Produce, second to Cool Archie, and that horse has obviously gone on and won a JJ Atkins, so Group 1, so obviously he's a horse we're very excited to see what he can produce in the future. Farnan has been amazing. He really is doing everything we expected him to do. I mean, we thought he'd get early types, we thought they'd get up and running just like he did, and that's exactly what they're doing.
He's a quirky sort of fellow. I mean, he's obviously a really high-class horse. He won a Golden Slipper, he won a Silver Slipper and a Todman Stakes. I mean, imagine if you own the winner of those 3 races this year, you'd be talking about this colt as absolutely being a superstar, and people really forget so quickly. So it's really good to recap on that race record of a horse such as Farnan.
That's absolutely correct. I mean, I think people do, nobody ever forgets a Golden Slipper winner, and the fact that he had 3 runners this year in the Golden Slipper as well keeps him at the forefront of people's minds. But the fact that he was such a good racehorse, and he was so fast, and he was so precocious and tough, I mean, I think we're very excited about him, and we're very excited for his future. He's covered good books of mares and will continue to do so. He's going to have a very bright future, we think.
And when you look at him here now, he's letting down even further. He's a son of Not a Single Doubt, we know, out of a Street Cry mare. And he's sort of, some of the Not a Single Doubts are really nuggety and powerful, and he certainly has that power. But he also has a little bit more sort of length about him and strength, and that Street Cry coming through as well.
Yeah, he's definitely got Street Cry's legs. Very sound. He stands over the ground. I mean, we saw him, as the boys said, he gets a bit heavier during the season when he's exercising more and covering mares, but he certainly stands over the ground. There's plenty of scope about him. He just isn't a sort of a squibby type, a short, as you say, a short couple type. He's definitely got that bit of stretch about him. He's a busy horse, isn't he? You can see why he was a good racehorse. The boys here say he's very clever. He learns things very quickly, and you only have to do something once with him and he knows what's expected of him and what you want him to do. So I think all of that combines to make him a very good stallion. A good stallion in the making, and his progeny seem to have that as well. They're smart, they're tough, they're precocious, so obviously if it keeps all heading in the right direction, we'll be pretty happy. Actually, we purchased 2 mares in America last season, and they'll both be going to Farnan. We purchased a very expensive mare up at Magic Millions, Written Beauty, and she's also booked to Farnan. So once again, going into his 5th season, he'll be covering a very good book of mares. Interesting that he's not just sex biased, he gets a good filly as well. So he's had winners both colts and fillies, which is very pleasing.
And continuing the same sire line, Not a Single Reduced Choice into Not a Single Doubt for Farnan. But Prague is a son of Reduced Choice himself, and we've always commented how similar they are. We know his dam descends from the mighty mare Emancipation, who has as descendants Group 1 winning sprinters and a Caulfield Cup winner. So Prague, you know, he could throw anything, and I think it's really exciting looking ahead to his 3-year-olds that are going to be coming through.
I know it's very evident today in today's world that everyone expects horses to get 2-year-olds, quick early 2-year-olds. Not everyone does. I mean, look at the Autumn Sun as a good example, and look what he's achieved now. We're very confident that Prague will get runners. We have every faith in him. I mean, you just have to look at him, what a gorgeous horse he is. He had the pedigree, the performance, the physique. So we have every confidence in him, and we will be supporting him again this year with some of our nice Kiora mares.
And of course at the sales too, you know, they're selling for a couple $100,000, you know. I mean, as a return on service fee, that is just magnificent.
Yeah, that was a very good result, wasn't it, for the colt out of Invincible Gem. So a good client of ours, Charles Hill, bred that horse. So, you know, we have some nice Pragues in our stables. The trainers like them. They just don't seem to have much luck at the moment. But as I said, we have every confidence in him, and we'll be supporting him again this season.
And of course the third stallion here at Kiora, Captivant, a son of Capitalist, and the first yearlings by Captivant have sold particularly well, and I really can't wait to see them on the track later this year. But you'd have to think they'll be out early, but the expectation would also be for them to train on in elite company as 3-year-olds.
Yeah, well, that's what we're thinking. He's the kind of horse, you know, won the Victory Vane, but then went on to run second in the Caulfield Guineas to Animo. So we're thinking that they will come out early, but also there'll be a bit of a stretch in them, and they'll get out over a bit of distance. The word from the breakers on them is that they're going very well. Everyone seems to like them. They have very good minds. They're very athletic. The same platitudes that everyone says about all their horses, but we are very happy with what we're hearing, and from what we're hearing back from other trainers, not just the Captivants that we have in our system. I mean, you saw him today. He's the most relaxed, beautiful horse. He's just got such a great temperament. He's so strong. He's also from that great sire line, the Written Tycoon Capitalist sire line, you know, so prolific here in Australia, so well established. So yeah, we're excited for Captivant.
Some of the mares to have visited him, we had the Captivant half-sister to Private Harry, sold at the classic sale for $220,000. So again, the right mares combined with him, they're throwing magnificent types.
I think if you send the right sort of mare to him, you'll get a very good type. So he needs a sort of a strong, shorter coupled mare, and that's what Happy Pilgrim is. So they got the result there. Also, Lizipan, the mare from Silverdale that had the $340,000 colt that sold at Easter, she's got a lot of commands back in her pedigree. Of course, he has commands in his pedigree, so you've got that double there. So that was very evident in that yearling. So he'll get you a very good-looking type. He floats along the ground. I don't know when you were taking that footage earlier today, the way he just sort of cantered around the paddock. He really just floats. And when we're seeing some footage of the yearlings at the breakers, they seem to float along like that as well. So, you know, we're hopeful.
Your beautiful broodmare band here at Kiora. So much to look forward to.
Yeah, we have 104 mares on the property at the moment, and this year we bought some really lovely mares. You know, we paid $1.8 million for Mumbai Muse. We bought some lovely mares up at the Magic Millions, and we're going to spread those mares around Farnan, Captivant and Prague. So we are putting our money where our mouth is and supporting our stallions.
And of course, you know, stallion parade's coming up too. There's so many opportunities to get up here and see these stallions, because people forget from one year to the next the racetrack performance, and also, you know, now that there are a couple of crops, particularly Farnan, you know, to come back, you've seen them race, and come back and have a look at him now, because all of them have really let down so much more from one year to the next.
Yeah, it's kind of like the boys turning into the men, isn't it? And we're happy for people to come back and look at them. You know, our stallion parade is on August 23rd. You can RSVP on our website. And we were happy for people to come and have a look at the stallions at any time, actually. If anybody wants to come at any time and have a private parade, all they have to do is give me a call and we can organise that.
Kiora Stud, a great option for mare owners with 3 fabulous young sires to choose from. Coming up after the break, a new segment on Bred to Win, presented by Cambridge Stud, Stud Dogs of Australasia, starting with Jack Russell, owned by Coolmore's John Kennedy.
He doesn't think he's a Jack Russell. He's got a big personality, got a great following around the farm. If anyone's over for the breeding season and they're feeling a bit homesick, Jack goes in to spend the night in their unit and becomes instant best friends with them. He was bred by Joe Hunt in Marundi. We've had him for just under 5 years. He's quite happy out and about in the farm at the weekends, absolutely loves the horses and gets on very well with all the staff. Loves going to the city on occasion and has often been spotted around the Gold Coast during Magic Million sales. He's a great personality, great company in the evening times, loves watching the racing at the weekends, and gets on very well with our 4-month-old son Alex. So he's an all-rounder. He gets a little bit of FOMO, so he likes coming around the farm, especially at the weekends, particularly in the gate or on the back of the postie bike. He's often been spotted in around the yearling barn giving us a hand. He seems to really enjoy being outside, but he can cuddle up on the couch there in the evenings and watch the racing. He's a great fella and very lucky to have him. Growing up on a farm myself, we always had dogs around us. I think they're a very important part of life on a farm. Good company in the evenings and never afraid to put the coat on with you at night time if you got to get outside and go and do a few jobs. They've great warmth and personality about them, and I think they're a great addition to the team in any farm.
That is Bred to win for this week. Don't miss next week's show as we profile star Group 1 winning new Coolmore stallions, Switzerland and Private Life. That and much more next week. I'm Caroline Searcy. I look forward to seeing you then.